Finally tonight, the mystery of a visit from St. Nicholas. It has been a holiday tradition since 1822, but who really wrote the famous poem? Richard Schlesinger delves into the secrets of Christmas's past.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
It's a classic example of literary history. We all know the words, but now there's some mystery. Who wrote the words under Clement Clarke Moore's name? It sure wasn't Moore, Henry Livingston's kin claim.
When I was introduced, as all boys and girls are introduced to the poem The Night Before Christmas, I was always told that it was stolen from our family. The 1803 and
strong words about light verse. Descendants of Henry Livingston, a happy-go-lucky poet of the early 1800s, say The Night Before Christmas 'twas ripped off by the man who until now has gotten credit for the rhyme, Clement Clarke Moore.
The evidence looks pretty strong that Moore did not write The Night Before Christmas and that Henry Livingston did.
Don Foster is sort of a literary sleuth. He was the one who discovered journalist Joe Klein was the anonymous author of the bestseller Primary Colors. He studies the author's words and styles, and in this case he says Henry Livingston's literary fingerprints are all over The Night Before Christmas.
What's striking about the poetry of Henry Livingston is not just that he uses the same rhythms as The Night Before Christmas, but he borrows from the same precise poems and poets. His eyes, how they twinkled.
The lightheartedness of The Night Before Christmas, according to Foster, is nothing like Moore's work.
Clement Clarke Moore tends to write in somewhat of a moralizing vein.
Foster sees more proof in the original names of the reindeer we know as Donner and Blitzen. Originally, they were named Dunder and Bliksem, Dutch names, and Livingston spoke Dutch. Their names were changed when Moore, who didn't know Dutch, created handwritten copies of the poem.
In changing them, he seems not to recognize the name of his own Dutch reindeer.
Moore's defenders insist he was a God-fearing Bible professor who would never lie, and they insist he is the real author. Don Foster remains on the case, believing poetic license should be restricted to poetry and kept out of history.
Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Richard Schlesinger, CBS News, New York.